Wednesday.
I was scrambling right when we were go time. I'm like grabbing my phone, making sure everything's on silent. I'm like, hold on. I just got to double check this. Given the topic of today, I'm like, no distraction.
That could be more perfect. And honestly, I probably should have done that as well because our notifications, everybody might end up hearing those. So I think mine are off. We should be good to go. But that's so relevant. By the way, I'm Elle Nelson. I'm a room tilter mental performance coach, and I'm here with the lovely and fantastic Krista Ryan.
Hello, everybody.
Workplace performance coach. She does all the things. Author of KFG. KFG.
Well, and you, my friend, so you are not in the US right now. Is this correct?
Correct. I'm over in Europe. I'm in London at the moment.
Oh, and I'm just so jealous and happy, and that's on my bucket list. I need to get to London. I think it would be absolutely fantastic. So I'm always living vicariously through you and watching what you do and making all these important changes and impacts in all the lives. So you are an inspiration, and I'm always grateful to be in the same room with you.
I appreciate you. Thank you for being my hype girl.
Always.
No, I don't know if you want to be here right now. We're getting this random heat wave. Hi, Megan, by the way. Hi, Rebecca. We're getting this random heat wave. And in Europe, we don't really have air conditioning. Not very often, at least at home, because at least in London, it doesn't get that hot during the year, but it's stinking hot. So if I start glowing, I'm going to say that that's just me sparkling, but it's actually sweat. So I'll
embrace it. There you go. Well, I'm in Minnesota. We just got over our heat wave. It was like the last 5-6 days in 100 degrees here, which is really not the norm. But now today it's 61 and cloudy. So I'm like, okay, this is fall. I got on my fall colors, and I feel like I have all of my fall decorations out in the house. So I just transitioned from one season to the next in 2 hours is what I did.
I cannot wait for that. The moment it gets cooler, I'm going to be in cardigans all day, every day.
It's fantastic. So,
okay. Should we dive in? I feel
Let's dive in because I could get distracted and talk about a lot of different things with you. And to tee this up and make everyone kind of giggle in the chat, or those of you that are watching after the fact, we're going to talk Workplace Wednesday. We're going to talk about distractions, how to avoid them, how to become aware of them. But before we hop on these lives, we always get on here a couple minutes early, and Elle and I were kind of talking through the topics, and guess what I did? I was like, butterfly squirrel, got super distracted because Ellie's hair is fantastic today. So I was like, tell me about the curls. How do you do it? Give me all the information. And all of a sudden I realized we had gone down this rabbit hole of distractions instead of addressing the topic that we're going to be doing in about 6 minutes, right? So
couldn't be more perfect. And honestly, it just goes to show that we are human too. And so this topic today is on productivity, efficiency, and minimizing distractions, like how we can stay in our focused flow. And oftentimes we're thinking of, okay, what can I add to my routine? Or I know on the lives before we've spoken about the Pomodoro. Is that how you? Pomodoro effect or technique, where we set a timer for 25 minutes, we focus, and then we take a break. So we're thinking about things that we can add, but today it's about addition by subtraction. So what can we be mindful of and start to cut out or alter to minimize distractions, to maximize focus? And why this is important is, I think there are a lot of reasons, both personally and professionally, but we've actually pulled a couple of statistics that I think are really powerful that are worth sharing. So I think, Mari, do you have a couple of those? Can you throw them on the screen for me? Okay.
This one's big.
Yeah. So the average person loses a minimum of 2.1 hours per day, 2.1 hours per day due to distractions, and spends only 11 minutes on a task before getting distracted. Okay, this is huge. This is huge. And I think there's one more, Mari. Oh, here, she's on it. Okay, so in the workplace, on average, there are 5 minutes between disruptions and a 1-minute response time to messages. So this is in the workplace. We're not even just talking about at home, but I feel like at home, sometimes we could have even more distractions. And I think in this research, it's mainly referring to technology. So that's not just people walking by in the office or a dog barking or getting hungry or whatever it might be. We've got distractions all over the place, especially in today's world.
All the time. And this topic is really, it resonates with me, especially because this morning I had a conversation with this individual of an organization, and we were talking about he's got so much going on, right? He's just so, one of the hurdles, his word, one of my hurdles is we're so busy. We're always so busy. We can never get caught up. Okay, so we started talking through the structure of his day, and he realized how many distractions are pulling him in multiple areas at different times throughout the day, where he doesn't have that flow state. He doesn't have that constant focus because he's getting pinged on Slack. Slack is a huge distraction in the workplace. He's getting calls, text messages, emails, that instead of focusing on the one thing the task at hand, he's looking here, he's got multiple screens, he sees this, he checks his phone, all of a sudden the wheels have come off. This is really common, really common. Ellie, my question to you would be, so this is a topic that's not new, right? This is a topic that is discussed time and time again. What are some warning signs for us? How do we know? Because as we talk about at Limitless, one of the first steps in really being creating an effective response is becoming aware. So how can we heighten the awareness when we're like, oh, I'm getting distracted?
Yeah. So I think we could go a couple different directions with this. I'll give you one of my top ones. And then I'd like to hear from you as well. So for me, I think it's knowing that relationships and the interactions that we have can be mirrors to help us become more aware. So what I mean by that, I'll give you a bigger example and then dial it back a little bit. So like my relationship with my partner or somebody that's close to me that can be, really direct and honest with me. If I'm having a conversation with them or they're trying to share information with me and maybe I'm like trying to send emails at the same time, because we all think we can multitask, even though what's actually happening is we're switching between tasks. That person that I'm talking to will blatantly be like, and this has happened before. So everybody, I'm human. I'm guilty of this. I'm working on it. So I'm not coming just as the expert. I'm coming as the student trying to help spread information. But that person that I'm talking to going, hey, Ellie, why don't you just let me know when you're done so that we can, then I can share this with you. So when other people notice that I'm not invested in the conversation, I think that's a more drastic example where somebody else can be a mirror for me. And all of a sudden I realize, whoa, I wasn't present. And then I think going into like autopilot sometimes for me. What I mean by that is, have you ever gone to like check the time and then you realize that you're just scrolling through social media or checking your emails and you didn't even intend on doing anything like that? So
all the time.
Oh my gosh. Same. All the time. It happens countless times per day. And so at first I might not be aware of it, but all of a sudden I notice and I go, oh, this isn't what I'm meant to be doing. And I've become more aware because I've started calling myself out and actually verbalizing like, Ellie, this isn't what you were intending on doing. And that's helping generate awareness for me. So those are two things that I think of. Do you have anything to add?
I want to touch on what you just said, Ellie, this isn't what you were intending to do. I think for me, intention setting is crucial to avoid pitfalls of distractions. So let me paint you a picture of my morning routine. If I do not set my intention for, so Krista, I love getting up early in the morning, everyone, like literally love the 5:30 a.m. mornings before the kids are awake. And, it's peaceful. I love it. I have to set my intentions of utilizing that time and how I want to, right? What is setting myself up for success look like right now? Because like, to your point, otherwise I'm looking at social media and Instagram and getting caught up on LinkedIn and all things. And I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't even set up my whole day for success. So and maybe the intention is allowing space for that, and that's okay. But my showers, getting ready in the morning, if I don't set my intention for, I'm going to block off 35, 40 minutes, I'm going to get everything done in this time frame, and then I'm going to be ready to go for the day. Ellie, this is just me being honest. I could shower at 6 a.m. and at 11:30, I'm still in my sweatpants and sweatshirt with my hair still like air drying. And I have not fully finished getting ready because I put in the laundry and then I checked my email and then I responded to some text messages and then I set up my LinkedIn and then I did an Instagram post. And all of a sudden I'm like going back and forth and kind of getting ready and then not, and then kind of, and it literally wastes so much time, so much time than just do it, get it done, be done for the day, and then move on to the next thing.
Okay. So it's about intention, and then it's about building momentum for the day. And I think you bring up such a great point. It starts with, I'll use the word intention again, but it's that conscious thinking that then we carry into the feelings and the actions. And so if we don't go into our day with a little bit of structure and a plan or a list of some kind, doesn't even have to be like a physical list written out, but an idea of what we want to accomplish and how we're going to do it, and maybe the priorities with which we're going to take those tasks on, then all of a sudden we just start winging it. And when we wing it, our brain wants to be pulled in a million different directions.
Yes.
And remember that like our thoughts influence our feelings and our emotions, and therefore our behavior, right? It trickles down and then it keeps cycling through. So if we don't start with intention and managing our thoughts and directing our thoughts, they're going to start trying to just go off in a million different directions. And a way to generate awareness too is if we notice that we're feeling frantic, we're feeling anxious, our heart rate is up, like we notice some of those physical symptoms associated with stress. Sometimes stress comes because we're trying to do too much and spread ourselves thin instead of taking on one task at a time.
Yes.
Right. And so that is something to pay attention to. I think if you're somebody who feels like that constantly, yes, maybe it is the workload. Maybe it's you've got a lot of different things you've committed to and you need to reevaluate those. But it also might be that you're not going in with intention for the day. You're not minimizing distractions and you're spreading yourself thin by trying to do too much at one time. So you're pushing yourself out of focus flow all the time.
I think that's so beautiful. And I use my weekends as an example. I used to say like, oh, I can't wait for the weekend because I'm going to relax and reset and just, spend my weekend just vegging out and doing what. Then I realized like, if that is the way I'm spending my weekend, maybe the structure and the way I'm working my work week isn't effective for me, because I shouldn't need the whole weekend just to lay around and do nothing. I want to spend the weekend living my life and getting out and being energetic and, loving the things that I love. So I totally reframed that and started looking at how can I work smarter, not harder, and that is just a reframing of it. It breaks it down to the day to day. How are you utilizing your time in the workplace the most effectively, not harder, right? And so let's talk through some of those support systems and tools.
Okay, let's do it. And
go ahead. I was gonna say one of my most important go-tos was a couple of years ago. And I know all of you that are listening that are maybe not 43 years old like I am. I got rid of Facebook off my phone because that was my number one time suck. And now I know Facebook is kind of being washed out in some realms and being replaced by Instagram, TikTok, all these other different platforms of social media. But I had to get it off my phone because it was such a time suck, especially when my kids were young, that all of a sudden I started thinking, holy swear word, I'm sitting on Facebook watching all these other people live their life, and my kids are at the park playing, and I'm not even aware of what's going on around me. Like, I'm missing the moments that matter the most because I'm staring at a distraction. So that was like a huge gulp, swallow, get rid of it. I had to. That has probably been the most impactful thing I had to do for myself and my family.
Who else? I know I'm talking with just you on the screen, but who else relates to that? Because if I could put a million hands up, I would right now. I've allowed distractions. So I'm going to take responsibility for that. I have allowed distractions to inhibit my relationships because I'm not fully present. And I've allowed it to inhibit my work because I'm not fully focused. And I let the two bleed together. again, I'm telling everybody I am not perfect. I'm still working on this. I let the two bleed together often. So for you, you're like, I need the weekend to recover from all this stuff that's gone on during the week because maybe I've not managed my time that well or I've done so much. And then for me, when I've got free time, I'm like, oh, do you know what? I could do some of that easy, mindless work because it's enjoyable and it's fine and it's going to help me rest and recover. But then I'm actually not fully giving my time and attention to recovering, and I'm not fully giving my time and attention to the task.
Yes.
So I end up feeling exhausted either way and don't accomplish very much. And I think this happens for a lot of us in different ways. So we're actually going to give you 6 concrete tips, things that you can do immediately to start minimizing distractions and maximizing focus. And I think it goes into relationships as well. Really,
I do too. Distractions, it sabotages yourself. And that is the most important relationship you should have is with yourself. It sabotages yourself and those that are around you that you care about the most, whether it's in the workplace or your personal lives. It definitely sets you up for the opposite of success. So yeah, let's talk through these 6 tips and takeaways.
Okay, number 1, we're going to give you 6. Number 1, turn off notifications. Turn them off. Notifications. Yeah, do not disturb mode, but even just go into your notification settings on your phone and on your computer and turn them off. I know sometimes you may have messages that are urgent or emails that you need notifications to go off. So I'm not telling you by all means you have to turn every single one of them off. But if you don't need it on, turn it off. Turn it off. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn is crazy with notifications. I get like 20 notifications a day, but oftentimes it's like letting me know that someone else has posted that even though I've not liked the page or something like that, it's just trying to pull me back in. And that's what websites and apps are doing now. They're trying to feed you with notifications to get you pulled back into spending time on the app. So turn your notifications off if you do not need them.
Yes. Can I add one little secret to that? A gentleman I was working with years ago, I had sent him an email and his out of office came back to me and said, it was so simple and it blew my mind. It said, I am protecting my time and energy today until 2 p.m. So I will not be responding to emails until that time. Thank you for your understanding. Hello, like you're out of office doesn't have to mean you're on vacation. It can mean I'm out of the office. I'm not here to respond at this time or for the next 4 hours. So don't look for a response from me. The world will not collapse. Nothing will burn down. It will be okay. And I loved that. I'm like, I love the framing of the word. I'm protecting my time and energy and I'll be responding. It wasn't like I'm out of the office, I'm doing this. It was like, I'm protecting. And then I was like, I'm supporting you. I'm right there with you. I wanted to help him succeed.
And that the thing is, so for some of us, we might be that person that responds constantly to things when they come up. I get an email notification. I'm going to get back to you within the minute. If you're that person and it kind of scares you to think about turning your notifications off and not being available all the time, I'm going to let you know that the people in your life will understand. Maybe they'll have to get used to it and it takes some time, but eventually they're going to get used to the fact that you take a little bit longer to respond.
Yes.
So at first they might expect a response in 1 minute. Give it a couple days, a couple weeks. They will adjust to your new working routine.
Yes.
That will be okay. So 100%. Let me just give you that. Okay. Number 2, for time's sake, I don't know how time flies. Number 2, consolidate apps and inbox and make it invisible. So I've actually done this before. I've taken time to go through all my apps and delete the ones that I don't need and then put them into different categories. So instead of having a million different apps on my phone that I just scroll, I've put them into different boxes and then labeled them like finances or health or productivity or messages and emails. And I've put them all into boxes to then just minimize the amount of apps that are showing up on my phone.
It's all noise. Yeah.
It is all noise. And then same thing when it comes to files on your computer. If you're somebody that has a million things on your desktop, I have
it's like you can see my desktop. I'm like, oh no.
So that's something that Krista's going to be working on.
You're right. Like, honestly, Ellie, I don't even think about it. I search for stuff for so long because it's a madhouse that I'm like trying to figure out, where is this, video? Where's this? Where's that? And so do simple smarter.
Yeah. And think about it, like what you're looking at in your screen, if it's constantly frantic and like overflowing with different apps and notifications and, things on your desktop, that's also going to be a reflection of what's going on in your brain. It's going to make you emulate that energy and that vibe.
Embrace the chaos. You automatically embrace the chaos without even knowing it. Yeah.
Yes. So if you can see that it's more organized, it's going to make you feel more organized and therefore a little bit more calm, cool, and collected and focused. So that's number 2. Number 3, use website blockers. This is not something that I've done. These are tips from Stephen Kotler through Flow Research Collective on getting into flow and minimizing distractions. So website blockers, I found 2 that looked like the best ones. They were the highest rated. One is called Friday. It's a Chrome extension, and one is called Freedom. And essentially what they do is you can just kind of block sites for a certain period of time. So that could be social media, that could be, the news, something that you tend to check and you don't need to be checking. You can block it for a period of time, and you can actually set a to-do list. So when you try and search it, your to-do list will come up.
Wow.
And be like, oh, you were working on this. Is that what you're trying to do?
That's
and it's a good reminder.
level.
Yeah, I've actually not tried it, but after reading about it and finding out some of these apps, I might give it a try to see how it goes. Maybe we can do a review.
Absolutely. We'll come back and follow up and be like, we loved this and this didn't work, but that's okay. Yeah. We're still working on it.
We'll let you know. We're works in progress.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 4, delete unused and unnecessary apps and files. So similar to like all the clutter that can be on our desktop and phones. If you don't need it, get rid of it. Those apps that you downloaded years ago from that one time that you needed parking in that one city, get rid of it. Clear it off. If you haven't used it in a year, you probably won't use it for quite some time. And if you need it that bad, you can download it again. You'll be okay.
I've got some scooter apps from my travels when I'm taking scooters to and from places that they're not even like in the surrounding 5 states. So I don't need those apps on my. Got it.
Yeah, I could probably have a check through mine. And same with photos. I've got a million photos on my phone. Oh, yeah. I'm somebody who, this is what I need to work on too, is just deleting the ones that I don't need. If I've got 10 copies of the same photo, I probably don't need all 10.
Yeah.
So something you could add as well. Okay, next one, number 5, we're cruising through. 1 tab, 1 task. So for those of you who have a million tabs open, it makes it really easy to just for a moment look at another tab and go, oh yeah, right, I'm doing that search on Amazon. Let me just click over there.
Yep.
Let me just click over there. Every time you do that, it takes about 10 to 15 minutes just to get focused again on your task. So think of how often you switch between tabs and then 10 to 15 minutes just to get dialed in again. How much time are we wasting just because of something being on our screen?
Yes. Oh, huge, huge.
Yeah, that's something I need to work on. So I've actually, because I've known we were going to talk about this, I've been working on that today, and it's actually helped. So I will vouch for this one. It's one that I could do more often. I'm guilty of having like 4 or 5 tabs open at the same time. So
likewise, I have 3 separate emails I work off of, and what I've done to be successful with them is I not delete, but I close the tab of my personal email because I'm like, you know what? I'm working right now. So I'm focused on this. And then depending on what organization I'm supporting or where I'm focusing my time and energy, I keep that specific email open and all the others are closed until I decide to have the intention of checking my personal. Then I see the email from my kids or my husband or asking about the weekend or, sports or whatever. But that's a distraction. Then I'll go down that rabbit hole and start responding and start engaging. And you're engaging in a conversation is what you're doing when you're responding to multiple emails. So it's like having 5 people talking at you and you're trying to listen and respond effectively, but it's so much more valuable to really stay focused here. So that conversation is complete.
That's a perfect segue into the last tip. Number 6 is batch all digital communication. So that is exactly what you're talking about. So instead of, I've got 5 minutes. Let me just quickly respond to a couple emails and then I'll get back to it. And then, oh, I got a message coming in. Let me just quickly respond to that and I'll get back. We know now, like we saw some of the stats with emails. Oftentimes we're trying to respond immediately and it takes about 10 minutes to type through and get an email back to someone. And then we try and get back to our task and it takes about 10 to 15 minutes just to get back into that task. Yeah. So really, by trying to respond to 3 or 4 messages or emails, how much time are we wasting because we're not fully focused on the emails and the messages and we're not fully focused on the other task. So batch your communication.
Absolutely.
Have designated times for when you're going to respond to emails, have designated times for when you're going to respond to texts. And that might be like if you're really productive in the mornings, get your tough tasks out of the way. And then maybe when you're feeling that dip in energy, just start responding to your texts. Lay there and respond to you're being productive, but you're not requiring all that brain power that you needed early this morning for your other tasks. So batch your communication.
Beautiful, beautiful. And with the batching of communication, I have found it valuable too. I love LinkedIn. It's my go-to social media source because it really focuses on things that are similar that I'm interested in. I avoid a lot of the pitfalls of negativity. It just supports me in social media, but it can also be a huge distraction and accountability moment. It's my own doing. Because if I'm doing like a LinkedIn post or something, I can get totally distracted. So in regards to the batching idea and concept, I found it really valuable on like Sundays to just go ahead and do like 2 or 3 LinkedIn posts and then schedule them out and then have a time and a date. They're already scheduled out for that week. And then they go. And if I do extra ones because I have time and space, then I do extra ones. But if I don't, then I'm like, you know what? It's not a big deal. But I'm also aware and intentional, like, okay, Krista, I want to do a LinkedIn post. Why are you working on this for an hour and a half? Because you're getting distracted looking at other posts and reading other content and finding other articles. And all of a sudden I'm like, this is my 7th article on this topic. And I literally could have posted this in 15 seconds. But now I've done all this research and that was really not the point of what my intention was for this.
Yes. Okay. We can all relate to this, I think, on a lot of different levels. But I've definitely felt that when you are probably working in most industries, but when it comes to LinkedIn and getting a post out, I'll spend so much time on it that I almost dread typing it out because I know I'm going to give it so much time. But actually, I've got moments where I feel really creative and I'm like, oh, that would be such a great idea. And this can be for any of us. So it doesn't just have to be a post. It could be an idea for something within your company or a suggestion or a way that you can make something better or, oh, it would be so efficient like that. You've got an idea. If you don't have anything going on in that moment, maybe you sit down, you commit an hour and you're in your creativity flow. Commit a longer period of time. If you have it to give, commit a longer period of time and stay in that focus. If you're in flow and you don't need to pull yourself out of it, don't pull yourself out of it and just bang out a couple of those or go into detail. Instead of feeling like you have to cut yourself and then bring it up again later. We're just constantly pulling ourselves out of focus.
Yes, and I'm always thirsty. So it's tempting for me to be like, oh, I want to read more about this and more about this. And this point's beautiful. And everyone on this call, you're all thirsty for growing. And I applaud you for being here. And thank you so much. Time always goes so fast. Hot on the docket for tomorrow is Matt and Carla. So Thriving Thursday, is that what it is?
Thriving Thursday, yes.
Thriving Thursday. This week, it's all over the place for me. I almost said Wednesday, but that's today. So Thriving Thursday, tomorrow, same time, same place, Matt and Carla. Thank you, Ellie. You're always a gift in my world. I love our time together. It goes way too fast. And thanks to everyone that was here today. Appreciate you so much and go get focused. Focus on the day.
Take one of those tips right now and integrate them. Turn off the notifications, batch communication, decide what you're going to do. Pick one, make it happen.
1% better today. Let's do it.
Better today. Yes. I appreciate you, Krista. Everybody have an amazing day.
Where's my camera? There it is.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.